Finale of Star Wars The Bad Batch released today on Disney+, and because the show started back in May when I was still on my mission and not making YouTube videos, I'm going to do what I did with Mandalorian and review the first season as if it were a big long movie. However, when Season 2 comes out, I will be doing it week to week. So let's get started. So right off the bat, this show pulls no punches. It really gets going from the first minute, where the Republic has now become the Empire, and the clones have been ordered to execute Order 66. It is pretty interesting to see Order 66 from another perspective. The perspective of clones who knew about their inhibitor chips ahead of time and took them out so they weren't forced to kill their Jedi generals, which does kind of fix an issue a lot of people had with Clone Wars. Why are they trying to make us like and get attached to these clones when we know in the end they will betray what they're fighting for? Why should we root for them? This show kind of fixes that by taking some of the more beloved clone characters and keeping them on the good side. This show is very much like the A-Team, but set in the Star Wars universe. The dynamic of Crosshair against these bad batch of clones and fought alongside them, who then defects to the Empire, ultimately betraying his brothers-in-arms since he sees the Empire as a continuation or evolution of the Republic, rather than a replacement for it, makes him a very rich, well-fleshed-out villain. I thought the new character of Omega was delightful, though I'm pretty sure she's not actually a clone. She is kind of the Baby Yoda or Grogu of the show, as the first half of the season is the batch trying to protect her from bounty hunters and others who want to capture her, which makes me wonder, other than supposedly being a female clone, what makes her so special. We didn't really get any answers this season, but I'm holding out hope for Season 2. And I am so glad they finally brought back Cad Bane, even if it was only for about an episode and a half. I do think we're going to see him later this year in the Book of Boba Fett, possibly. And I also like seeing Hera from Star Wars Rebels as a younger character and learning a little bit about her backstory, and also seeing Fennec Shand from Mandalorian. It definitely makes all those shows feel important. Sometimes, though, it's a little too connected, and what I mean by that is one episode in particular that I thought was a story that didn't really need to be told, which was the episode where they go to capture a baby rancor. And you find out at the end of the episode that that rancor is Jabba's rancor that we see in Return of the Jedi. Like, was that really a question people were asking? Do we really need to know where Jabba's rancor came from? I also did like seeing how the early days of the Empire affected the galaxy rather suddenly. From what we see, everyone is very suddenly ruled by this iron fist. Throughout the course of the show, we see different worlds who are now under Imperial rule, which gives us little seeds and start of the rebellion. And it definitely makes you really, really root against them. It was also very interesting how a lot of the clones who now serve the Empire start to slowly realize over the course of the season, wait a second, I think we're the bad guys. Based on how Season 1 ended, I'm a little bit more sympathetic towards Crosshair, even though he was such a great villain for the show, and I'm hoping eventually he turns to the good side. And I'm very excited to see where this show goes in Season 2. So overall, I would give Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 1 a 9 out of 10. It is a perfect continuation it's an almost perfect continuation for Star Wars Clone Wars. I'm very excited for the next season.